I put some espresso into the actual cake mix itself, which gave that a coffee flavor. And then I made some fresh dulce de leche, and I just simply filled the cupcakes with that, and then I added that to the frosting. So it really had a cool flavor, it was very similar to caramel frappuccino. Also, one time for class, I actually had to make a healthy dessert. And of course I couldn't make anything. I didn't want to make like a flourless cake or something really simple, so I decided to challenge myself and actually create a mousse without any cream, a dessert mousse without any cream. So what I decided to use was tofu instead. And it took me about probably almost 7 days. It almost took me the entire class just keep testing and testing and testing. But eventually I actually got a product that was very similar to mousse. It tasted pretty good. It had a slight off texture, but the overall product was pretty good, and to say that I made a mousse without any cream is pretty cool.
Is there a specific genre of food, desserts, you like to bake or cook? Be very specific. What type of baking do you hate? It's okay, we know you do.
Easily, my favorite foods to make, especially pastry-wise, is ice cream and anything deep fried. I love the idea of taking a sugary dough and putting it in fat and frying. Donuts are the best. And then if you can somehow figure out how to incorporate ice cream into those, heaven. Best thing I've ever eaten, deep fried ice cream. Awesome, best thing. Now, the thing I don't like to make is anything synthetic. Also anything with very boring flavors. I feel like, every time you make a cake for someone, you have one chance to impress them, one chance to make a mark on their lives. So I feel, why use just vanilla cake when you can incorporate tea into the water to give it some subtle flavors, or add espresso to the chocolate in order to enhance the flavors. And I feel like if you have someone with special needs that can't have sugar or have gluten, why use a synthetic ingredient like, sugar substitutes when you can use a sugar alternative like honey or agave, which sweetens and it also gives a distinct flavor, and diabetics can eat it.
Tell us any interesting detail about yourself or anything that made you stand out.
Interesting stuff. Well, I'm probably a pretty random person. I tend to get bored pretty easily, so I try to constantly do new stuff. Like in 8th grade, I showed cows and was a dairy and meat judger. And the way Napoleon Dynamite shows dairy judging, that is not how it's done. What else? Oh, I have really bad feet. And I don't know why, it was just how they are. But here's a snapshot right now. But yeah, see they're pretty bad. They're hairy and I had surgery on them. But you know what? I'm proud of them. I'm in Florida, I wear flip-flops everywhere. And everyone gets to see them, so I don't care. I'm really scared of ghosts. I recently watched The Haunting in Connecticut, and for real, I couldn't sleep for like 2 days. It was really bad. I would walk in the middle of the night and see like the ghosts everywhere. I think it's called like plasmophobia or something, but it's really creepy, and they're always around, and that's why I'm happy I live in a new neighborhood that was on cow pastures and not like Indian burial grounds or anything. And I've been a DJ since I was 11. My dad did it when he was young, and he trained me, and so I love music, I love food, and that's actually what inspired me to get my first tattoo, which a picture is right now.
What is your favorite topic of conversation in a social setting, and why?
I guess I just really like to get to know people. I like to ask them, I guess deeper questions than what's, the superficial type. Oh, how are you? How many kids do you have? What do you like to do? I like to ask deeper stuff. It can kind of embarrass me a little bit. I was at my mom's work, and I kind of was hitting on one of her coworkers, and I was like, hey, what are your aspirations? And I was like really serious, and apparently she started laughing when I left the room. I thought it was a serious question because we were talking about college, and I wanted to know what she wanted to do with her life. But apparently, I don't know, that makes me a little dorkish or something, I don't know. But what can I do?
Where do you get your receipt? Family, friends, cookbooks, TV, etc. How do you put your own personal twist on receipts?
With culinary, I actually like to use whatever leftovers we have. My mom always gets on top of me because she actually wants me to start like a cooking show for teenagers and about how they could use the leftovers to make really cool stuff. But I don't know. I don't know. It's not really for me, I guess. But with pastry, it's a little bit more difficult because it's a lot of formulas. So I like to get those from, you know, cookbooks and online, but I do like to change them. One of my favorite things is just to add tea. I really feel like tea adds a lot of very subtle, beautiful flavors, and all you have to do is basically steep it in the water, and then you just make sure you remeasure the water to make sure it's the same amount, and it's the exact same ratio. So that's like a really easy way to change up a recipe.
Complete this sentence. If I were an ingredient, I will be why?
If I were an ingredient, I would probably be a acai berry. I know that's a little weird, but that berry is actually relatively new to the culinary and baking and pastry world, just like I am. And you know that berry, if you know used regularly, can really benefit the body. It can really help it to fight off bacteria and germs. And I feel like if companies and restaurants were to use me regularly, I could also help them get through a lot of tough times, because I come up with a lot of creative ideas, and although I'm not technically skilled as much as maybe some other people are, I definitely am willing to learn a lot, and I learn pretty quickly.
If you're up against other contestants, will you be competitive in order to win for cash and prizes?
Well, I don't really know what that means for this cake challenge, but anyway, of course I would. If I were in a show or whatever that question was, I'm kind of confused right now, but I would know that I was there, primarily for myself. If I came out of the experience making friends, fantastic. If the other competitors were nice people and I made lifelong friends, that'd be great. But I'm there for myself. I'm there for my family, and that's my primary thing. And I will be competitive enough to do nothing but to be victorious.
What is your all-time favorite ingredient and why?
It's gonna sound kind of bad, especially because I'm only 19, but I love to use alcohol. I feel like it easily burns off in any baking process, but it adds so much flavor. I absolutely love the taste of rum. There's so many different types of flavors. You can pretty much use any alcohol to enhance the flavor of anything. And if used correctly, you can even use it in ice cream. So I love using alcohol.
Please describe the most stressful time in your life and how would you effectively handle it?
A real stressful situation in my life was when I was in high school and I was running to be re-elected for student body president, and then I had AP tests at the exact same time. So I had to worry basically about my social status and if I get re-elected and if I can help the student body again, and I had to worry about basically college level classes and if I would get those credits. And basically because I didn't take that stress in a positive way, I literally got shingles, which I don't know if you know, but it hurt. And that showed me that I wasn't taking the situation in a correct way. So what I realized is, I gave myself a day because the doctor said you need to take a day to rest. So basically I stepped back from the situation. I let my thoughts gather. I was able to reanalyze the situation, and I created an action plan.